sit in dressing rooms, but Eric Johnson said he sits right next to Matt Fay in the room. Was that by design? Is that something you wanted to?
No, I have no control over that.
Do you sense Eric, though, taking him under his wing a little bit?
Well, Eric's a veteran guy, and I know in some of our meetings last year, he had some thoughts, so I think he's very well respected in the room, and that'll be part of his role.
Garnet Hathaway, and he said, you guys have hit the ground running, training has been really intense, and it's that mentality building that's been really important. Is that what you've noticed out of the players as well? Yeah,
they have, as I said yesterday, I think they understand the program. I think they they may talk about it, the skating and all, but I think one thing about our players, I think they want to be pushed. We've got some great athletes in our league. They may need to be nudged a few times here and there to do it the right way, but I think they accept that all we're trying to do is make them better.
John, with Nick Deloria, I know he was in and out of the lineup last year. You said it was pretty tough to sit him at times. Looked really good in the scrimmage. He even scored a couple of goals, and he was hitting everything. Just how much do you think he's going to push to play games and be a guy that's not forgotten?
Yeah, he's a big part of our club, and as I said last year, when you start adding people, you start progressing. Things change within the lineup. I'm not sure what the lines are going to be. Nick came in good shape again. He's well respected. I don't know where it all sits. It's very similar towards the end of last year. Nick and I have talked about that, and he's another guy that's a veteran guy that commands respect just by what he does. And I think he plays a role in that too. But as far as the lineup, I got to see where everything falls out, and we'll go from there.
Going back to Eric Johnson for a second, you told us this time last year about Mark Stahl, that you had a conversation with him before he signed about what his role was going to be and what he was going to do. Did you have a similar conversation with Eric before he re-signed?
Very similar. Really, probably the exact same type of conversation. Stalzy was a different story. His family was closer, where I could get him out of here some days if I just wanted to get him home to his family. EJ, dogs upon dogs. His wife's going to be in and out of town. A little bit different story there, and where with Mark, his kids were young. I wanted to give him an opportunity when I could to give him a heads up that he's not playing a game so he could go home. A little bit different with Eric, but same type of situation. He's not going to get in the way of the kids. We got to keep developing our kids. And this conversation was held by Danny and I and Eric prior to him even being signed. He came to us, wanted to come back here. He really liked being here in the short time he spent with us. And we felt how he handled himself in the locker room. I was just talking to Kevin. Felt it's a good conduit. And, so very similar conversation.
Yesterday we saw Travis Konechny and Travis Sanheim kind of going at it a little bit during the scrimmage. Mm-hmm. Today we saw Nick Seeler basically yelling at the entire bench for the other team. What's it like from your perspective seeing guys just have that intensity this early on?
Yeah, that's the competitive spirit of our players. Not just our team, but I think the whole league. I think it's a great athlete to coach. As far as when you may, and I don't have to. They'll figure that out. If something gets out of hand with TK and Sanheim and someone's getting the worst of it, everybody will figure that out. So I leave it up to them. But Seals, that's just who he is. I'm not sure what happened, but that is good stuff for me, and we're not gonna police that. They will police that.
Have you reached the point where, because you mentioned this last year, even dating back to your first year, that you didn't think you were quite ready to let them police the room? Obviously now you have a captain, it's a little bit different dynamic, but are you ready at this point to kind of just let them go and deal with everything themselves?
No, I'm talking about that stuff there. I'm not talking about police and everything. I think we still have a little bit ways to go. As we keep on going through the program here, I think I have to pick and choose. Because if you're going to develop people, you have to let them you have to give them an opportunity to settle things down or to straighten some situations out. Not so much that stuff on the ice, but when the season starts, do I need to go in there and explain how we feel about what's going on? Do I give them a little bit of rope and let them do it? So certainly more of that in my mind, to give more opportunities from my first year. My first year, I'm in there all the time. Talking about how you dress. My first year was so much stuff going on. But now, as I said, you need to respect the growth and don't get in the way when they keep on wanting to grow. And those are the decisions they're going to make during the year.
Jay Woodcroft was here, John, I know, for a couple days, and he was telling me he reached out to you and just wanted to observe practice. How did that all come about? And from your perspective, do you appreciate a young coach reaching out to you and looking for maybe advice or whatever?
Yeah, just that. He contacted me, I don't know, a couple months ago. I think he's gone overseas. I think he's been busy. He's trying to get better. He contacted me. I showed him the schedule where the 2 good days would be. You don't want to bring him here and watch that skate in the first day. And so I wanted to give him a couple of days. Rocky knows him a little bit. And, he spent a few minutes with us after practice yesterday. It's a coach trying to get better. And I think in the coaching fraternity, I used to do it as a young coach myself, just reach out and try to see if I could just view a practice and maybe sit down and talk a little bit. So I think that's just a young man that has no job right now, trying to use his time correctly to try to be better. So I'm all in on that, and so it's good. Happy.
Rodrigo Abels, the 6'4" center, kind of seems like an intriguing guy. Just how much do you know about him? And
I don't.
Have you had any impressions of him out there? Or do you think
Scored a goal today.
Yeah.
I look at him in Eklund. I look at the big size, and I think they've handled him well on the skating tests, and they're going to get a look in the exhibition games and see where we go. As a number of other people that I still don't really know. So Danny's talked to me a little bit about him. First time I've seen him play. He'll get some time in the exhibition games, and we'll make our judgments from there.
Have you decided on the status of Mishkov for either of these 2 games, and how much are you looking forward to see him out there against NHL competition?
I'm not sure what your question is.
Well, is Mishkov going to play, do you think, in either of these 2 games? And
Yeah, he'll probably play in one of them, yeah.
Bobby Brink talked to us a little while ago. He said he was here all summer long, building strength, and he was noticeable today in the scrimmage a little bit, throwing the body around a little bit, which is something you brought up a lot last year with him. Where do you see his game right now? Where do you see him growing, I guess, and developing his game more?
You're going to have to wait another few days. I want to watch him in the exhibition. Yeah, he's going to play in one of them, yeah. But you'll have to, I'll give you some. Again, I like I always say, I watch this, but I want to watch it into the exhibition, and then we'll make our judgments on the players from there.
Is he kind of in the same boat, comparatively speaking, where Cam York was this time last year, where you still were trying to figure out, where he was as a player, even though he did spend an extended period of time in the NHL the previous year?
Yeah, I forget Yorkie. Well, we sent Yorkie down my first year, right? And when did he come back?
December-ish.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there's a lot of good things to Bobby. Consistency is going to have to be. That's something that with young players that's what you have to live with as far as their inconsistency and try to give them some more to get them consistent. Where it all sits, I don't know. We're certainly going to take. We know him better than some of the other people because we've had him and. Like some of the things, the puck follows him. We like some of the things he does in the power play. I'm just looking for consistency from him in his total game.
I just remember last year, I think what I was referring to more was last year at the start of camp when we were talking to you about Cam York, you basically said, I don't know if he's an NHL player, a full-time NHL player yet. He's got to prove that to me. He very clearly did last year.
Yes.
Is that kind of where you're at with Bobby
Yes.
too?
Yes.
John, you talked about goaltending the other day and Sam's usage, but with Ivan Fedotov, you talked last year about the situation that he got kind of thrown into when he got here. How much more of a fresh perspective can you get on him after an off season? And
Yeah, he spent his summer here. Like I think I said last year, we're not going to make a judgment on him one way or another in the situation that he was brought into and all the stuff going on around him. So this is kind of fresh slate for him. He's going to get some time, and then we'll see where it goes. It's going to fall on him and how he plays. Pretty certain Ursa's going to be our guy to start the season, and Ivan's going to get some time in that backup role, and we'll see how he progresses. I really, it happened so quickly, and it's unfair to make any type of judgment on him based on last year.
Ian Lepierre is going to coach the first 2 exhibition games.
Yes.
What's it like for you watching from the press box, and do you get the itch to even be on the bench at this time? Or?
No, I don't get the itch now because I think there's more important things that I can do in watching. I don't know if other coaches can coach a game in exhibition and watch and make judgments on players. I can't. Maybe I'm not good enough with my eyes, but I want to be as fair as possible in making assessments on players. Because I'll be talking to them if we send them down and we send them out of here. I want to know, I want to be fair. And on the other hand, I think it gives coaches a chance to run a bench in these games that help progress them too. Lappy's going to coach in Montreal. I think that's fantastic. French Canadian going back home there, get on an NHL bench. It's probably going to be sold out, always is in Montreal. I think it's exciting for him, so it's a great opportunity.
And then you do the other games.
No,
learn more about the guys.
I won't be doing my whole staff. We will not be doing the games as an NHL staff till the last 2. Yeah, last 2.
That gives you a little bit different perspective too, how guys function on a bench.
Absolutely. When I sit upstairs, I saw things even during the regular season. I watched our bench, and I saw things that I didn't know were going on, good and bad, from upstairs. And I think it's a lousy way to watch the game in some of the buildings because you're so far away. But I saw other things that I was looking. A couple of things kind of stood out to me that I didn't realize what was going on. So those are good situations, and I do. I think it's part of my job is to let some other people grow too. Jay Woodcroft, he give him a chance here. Let him talk to some coaches. Him and Rocky were talking, Shazi, and I think it's my responsibility to help other people too grow.